Haha, once in a while you get yourselves a minor signing that actually makes headlines and that people decide to talk about. We have ourselves the news today that the Toronto Marlies and the AHL have come to terms with forward Alexander Nylander on a one-year AHL contract. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Okay, firstly, this is gosh darn Alexander Nylander, William Nylander's younger brother. Secondly, it's an AHL deal, not an NHL deal. It's with the Toronto Marlies and not with the Leafs. And thirdly, you may be thinking, what does this mean? And how exactly is this going to work out in the most fan-servicey way possible? How could it, right? So, the thing is, Alexander Nylander getting signed by the Toronto Marlies, technically, is not anything to do with the Toronto Maple Leafs accessibility that he has. He is not a Leaf, he's a Marley. Very big difference. Maple Leafs players that are signed to Maple Leafs deals have the ability to get sent up and down to the Marlies, etc., of course, as it pertains to whether or not they have a no-move clause or not. But if you're signed only to the Marlies, you're not technically allowed to go up to the Maple Leafs without any extra steps being given. There are steps that will allow you to do that, you just gotta kind of work for them. Before we dive into that, though, let's go on to his stats, his numbers, take a look at what he's done lately. Of course, he is the younger brother of William Nylander, who is one of the most expensive Toronto Maple Leafs players of all time, and one of the better ones, too. But, unfortunately for Alex, he does not have the same level of hype, he doesn't have the same offensive productivity that his brother does, but at one point in his prospect career, people did think that Alex could become better than William, so there's that, I guess. But Alex is 26 years old, 6'1", 192, winger center who plays all forward positions. He's a right-handed guy, initially drafted by Buffalo, 8th overall, 2016 draft. We all kind of remember the story here. We've been making videos about Nylander for years. And if you look at the scouting report from back in 2016, Nylander's game is all about skill. Blessed with exceptional hockey sense, technical skills, and overall offensive awareness, he is a very creative and shifty player with speed and soft hands. Furthermore, Alex Nylander has a great release, a good scoring touch, and the ability to do some of the unexpected things with the puck. On the downside, there is some consistency issues and intensity could be better. There's some room for improvement when it comes to his defensive game as well. Alex Nylander had a really rough go as a Buffalo Sabres prospect, as a Chicago Blackhawks forward, as a Pittsburgh Penguins guy. He was always great in the AHL, but never really found that success in the National Hockey League. Up until his limited stint with the Columbus Blue Jackets this previous season, where after getting sent over there, he had 15 points in 23 games played, including 11 goals. Alex Nylander, for a time in this previous season, absolutely took over the headlines. He was the main attraction, and everybody was saying, hey, Columbus has a fantastic scorer at their disposal here. Re-sign the guy, bring him back, play him with Gaudreau, and then you're winning, right? But they didn't sign him. He became a free agent, and now he is signed with the Marlies. And when you think about the implications of this, obviously, you know, William and Alex are pretty good buds. Of course, they're brothers, but these guys are always posting videos of their workouts and social media. They're always hanging out together. They seem very, very close. And so with Alex Nylander signing with the Toronto Marlies, this actually is a really good move for Toronto in the Maple Leafs capacity because of some of the implications that the Marlies contract can provide. To help us out with this, let's go on to the Maple Leafs sub because they do talk about this. I wanted to go out there and read some of these comments. We've signed forward Alex Nylander to a one-year AHL contract, yada yada yada. First comment says, I'm surprised there wasn't an NHL contract there after the success he had last year. All I ask is that if he somehow gets to play on a line with Willie in preseason, maybe on a PTO or something, if that's possible, we would love to see it. We hated when that chance was taken away from them internationally years ago. Now, this comment goes out there and describes where exactly everything can go here. For those wondering why it's the AHL and not an NHL minimum, I believe it's waiver related. This way, he could come out to camp and if he doesn't make it, be assigned to the AHL without waivers. If he plays well, he can be converted to a two-way at league minimum. That's the thing with these NHL training camps. You don't necessarily need to have a contract with the NHL team to be a part of their NHL training camp. You see guys get invited all the time that are just random guys out of Europe or out of the junior scene here in the CHL. It's a little bit varied from year to year to year. You don't necessarily need that NHL contract. So for Alex Nylander, I think what this essentially looks like is the Marlies have themselves a contract with him. It's already there. His commitment is with Toronto. He can't get signed anywhere else. But he could also get invited to regular Maple Leafs training camp as a part of the Marlies organization. There are some Marlies that will attend Leafs training camp, and if he is good enough, he plays well enough, and he shows off well enough, maybe on a line with his brother or something in the scrimmages or whatever else you have in this scenario, then the Maple Leafs can offer Alex a regular two-way deal, 1 year long, league minimum, and then he'll be able to play in the NHL with his brother if that permits. Of course, if it works out, then that's fantastic. But if he's not good enough, he ends up not showing the same things that allowed him to leave Columbus without them giving him a contract offer. He's not great. He's not able to live up to the hype. His speed isn't there. His offensive game doesn't translate. If anything goes wrong with Nylander, then the Maple Leafs have no bearing on it. They don't have the contract signed. It's with the Marlies. He'll just play 1 year with the AHL team, and that's that. If the Maple Leafs tried to gamble and get Alex Nylander to a 1 year league minimum deal in the NHL and it doesn't work, then all of a sudden that's an extra contract that they have bagging them down, and they have too many gosh darn contracts and too much money tied up into players like William Nylander that you can't really afford to make those kinds of mistakes at this point. So this really does seem to be more of a fail-safe option here for Toronto, and it's more of a gentleman's agreement where it's like, hey, we have this in place, we want to give you the opportunity, we want to see if you're able to do it, but if you're not, we have to only sign you to an AHL deal so it doesn't significantly hurt our team, because we need to save on the every dollar we can. I hope you can understand that. And besides, if Alex Nylander and William Nylander are as close as we think they are, William could just give Alex some of the money that he's getting on that huge contract anyway, so it all works out at the end of the day, right? I say that very tongue-in-cheekly, I know. Yeah, I get it, it's kind of a dumb thing to say, but let's reload this page and see some of the other comments made by Leafs fans. Surprised there wasn't an NHL contract. I'm guessing William may have talked him into joining Toronto, and if that's the case, then honestly, great. Good for both of the Nylanders over here. Especially for Alex, because like if he's able to get that opportunity, if he's able to continue this 15 points, 23 games played, 11 goals, 4 assists, if he has that kind of a point production metric with Toronto in the Maple Leafs organization, let's say he does show off well in training camp, he looks really good with his brother, there's chemistry there, and they want to sign him, they bring him on, and he gets that point production, that could be seen as one of the best contracts in the NHL. It was already seen as that when he was doing all this stuff in Columbus and scoring those goals and making those plays and making everything work. They just didn't want to bring him back for some reason. So for Alex, there's a whole bunch of potential here. Will William push him into gear? And if he does that, they'll have a solid fourth line, or honestly, maybe a little bit more than that, to be honest. I mean, he had a lot of success with the Blue Jackets system. Lots of other replies going out there, just kind of talking about possibilities. Will he play with Willie? He'll definitely get a chance to play in the preseason with Willie. I, for one, am super excited for that. Wouldn't he need an NHL contract for that? Not for the preseason. He's on contract and a member of the AHL team. We can play whoever we have in our system. So this seems like a pretty good move. Honestly, big win for everybody involved here. Congrats over to the Nylander family. Congrats to Alex and William for making this connection work. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Alexander Nylander signing a 1 year deal with the Toronto Marlies in the AHL. Where do you think that puts him in standing with the organization? How well do you think that's going to translate as he continues his NHL career? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.